Okay, so now let's add a little bit of contrast, but also a little bit of color to our shadows. So it still looks pretty basic, but if we take, I'll add a new layer over top. I've got the selection in place, and let's try a darker blue. And let's set this to stronger, and on combine mode, let's put it to darken. And see how it just darkens the shadows and it adds a bit of blue in there at the same time. So I'd recommend like just kind of using that in spots, not going through the entire painting that way, but it can add a neat little effect, some added bounce light source almost because of the way that the shadows have some different color in there. So I'll just softly brush that in. Again, I can kind of check that over here. Yeah, and I definitely like the effect that that gives it. Okay, so another thing I want to talk about is the bounce light. So if I add a new raster layer, and let's go ahead and come over to the airbrush here, go to highlight. Let's pick just a lighter earthy tone of some kind. See what that looks like against there. Oh, we got to come over to here and put add glow. Oh, still not doing it. So it's got to be on highlight here as well, or stronger. Okay, there we go. So it's got to be on stronger here, add glow over here. And basically, we're going to get, let's try our combine mode to normal. Yeah, it's about the same, I guess. Okay, so basically it's going to give us the ability to throw in a quick light source. I don't think I like the yellow though. Let me get that out of there and try. Let me see if we can just stay with the blues here. Yeah, we'll just use that for our bounce light source. One of the reasons why I think the blue works well is because we have a blue canvas background. And the more you progress through your painting, the more that you want to use some of the sample colors from your background. It's part of what makes the painting blend together and have a bit of realism. And the further an object is to the back of your painting, distance-wise, then the more of the background tone you're going to use over those elements. So just keep that in mind for creating depth in your paintings. So let's go ahead and brush some of this in. Again, I've got it on a separate layer so I can just play with it and see what works. So I'll just softly brush in some bounce light. And this is a really good way to quickly add depth to your scene and just a bit of an effect, really. It just has a really nice overall effect. And it's good to picture that light's doing this. That light's not only hitting this rock formation here, it's hitting this rock formation here and bouncing back over to here. So the more that you start to incorporate that into your work, the more little bits of realism I think you'll end up gaining from that. So I'm just using a soft brush, but I don't have to. I can use the soft brush to kind of put it down, and then I can use the blending brush here to kind of move it around and soften it up or whatever. So you can use any bits of effects. You don't have to use that same brush to place the highlight. So I can kind of go back and forth, put a little bit down, blend it in. I can even use some of the paintbrush there, smooth watercolor. And this is often referred to as rim lighting or edge lighting. So you just study your photos again and see how it reacts on various objects. You're going to have areas that are a little bit stronger, and then areas that blend off, and some will have no light at all. And you just got to really play around with it and see what works. But again, by using that separate layer, it's a very non-destructive approach. So if you do something and you don't like it, you can quickly back away and no real loss of time. You know, one of the biggest things I find the more I do digital painting is that you just have to experiment. You really just have to think outside of the box, play around with different things. Don't get set into one way of creating. Just really try a variety of effects. And then when you find something that really works well, obviously adopt that and call that your own and keep it in your arsenal there. But you're never going to find those neat effects if you don't really experiment around. So there's just lots of cool things you can do with this. And I'll be covering a lot of these effects and things that we can accomplish in these tutorials. So hopefully you'll stick around and pick up on all that. Alright, so there's a little bit of bounce light. Just play around with this and move it around, see what I get. And again, I can go back over to here, toggle it on and off, and make sure I like the effect. And I really do. I think it adds a lot more of a, almost a mood to it, you know. Gotta love the mood. Okay, so there's that. I won't merge that one down, even though I could. It just I really don't have to at this point. So let's punch up some more highlights on this side now. So I used an add glow effect for there. I'm going to do that as well one more time. So, and I should probably name some of these because they're going to get out of control. I'll just do HL for highlight. And let's go to add glow again. I don't think I want to add a blue light again. Let me try a reddish. You know, and again, this is just me experimenting because I want to show you how sometimes it can work out to try something that you're not sure of. So I was just kind of loosely, haphazardly brushing in some of that light source. I don't know why it would be red over here and blue over there, but you know, whatever. And I'm scribbling it in there really loose because I want to adjust it a bit as I smudge it around or blend it. Okay, and I'm going to zoom in a bit more. And I could even use a little bit of this light source to still try to define some of the planes. Not a lot, but you know, because where it's going to probably look best is if it's just on the very ridge, like this. Or the very ridge and the very top, something like that. And it's real easy to overdo something that you think looks cool. So it's, you know, I'm fighting it myself right now. I'm wanting to, like, you know, just put it everywhere. Highlights are cool. Let's put highlights on everything, you know. So you got to, like, hold back from that. So let's grab a smudge blending brush. And let's push this around just a little bit. Soften up some of those edges. And the cool thing about this blending brush is it works really well. It doesn't slow the system down that I've noticed, which is awesome. And then also, if you don't want something there, you could literally just blend it right out of existence. So it's a really good brush to have to fix your work. So I'll just soften up those edges a bit. And I don't know if I like that highlight color, but we'll see. We'll mess with it a little bit more. Alright, let's pan back. It's doing something funky right there. Is that the other? It might be the other layer. Yep, it is. So, and that's kind of what I was saying about contrast. It seems like the more you progress to your painting, one thing will sometimes positively or negatively affect the rest of the painting. So it'll show you, you know, mistakes as you're progressing through it. Sometimes, anyways. And sometimes you'll just do something and it will cover up something and you won't have to fix it. But there's a lot of little contrast things that you have to notice in your work. So I'm just kind of blending some of that underlying painting now and moving some stuff around to see if I can make the highlights work well, or a little bit better anyways. Okay, and something else I wanted to address real quick. Let's see if I have to. Well, I'll leave this. I'll deselect first. And one of the things I want to fix, I wanted to tell you about how, since we worked in this method, that say you get to an area and you don't like the shape, you put all this effort into refining the shape or refining the painting around it or inside of it, but you want to change the shape. So we've got the initial piece right here. It'll look kind of cool by itself. So we take off lock transparency and maybe a hard erase. And say we don't like, I just don't like this point right here. It looks really weird and I think it's goofy and silly, so I'm going to get rid of it. So I'll take it right down to about, let's try right, it still looks off. I think what it is overall, it's just too smooth around it. Like it needs more rigidness, separation, and it's hard to see because it's actually leaving that other shape in place. So what I'll do here is take the shape down to like right here or something. Oh, come on. I didn't realize that'd be so hard. Okay, so let's take this, right click, select from layer, create selection. There's our selection. And let's hit Command Shift I to invert the selection, and then just go to each layer and hit delete. Delete and delete. And as simple as that, we're able to reshape the initial shape of our painting and get rid of any effects that were separated on other layers. So I just wanted to show you that because I didn't want you to get backed into a corner by painting this way or have to merge everything down and edit as one. That's the other way to do it. So you can usually fix it just as simply as that.